Hello, welcome to Mamemeister's 10-minute mashup. Today's game is Barmy Burgers by Blaby Software, or whatever they're called. Now, being an old fart like myself, I was around, if I'm going to turn this down in a wee second, I was around at the time when this whole kind of cottage industry of ours kicked off, and Blaby Software were one of the first kind of ones that I remember seeing adverts for in computer and video games. They did things like, I think they had, in fact one of the games actually, I think it was my second or third mashup was Crazy Kong, or was it Kong, I think it was called. An absolutely shocking version of Donkey Kong. Now obviously back in to our kind of younger viewers, anybody under the age of 30, when these computers first came out, there was no such thing as having to pay a licence fee. Not like nowadays where you got to pay an extortionate licence fee for a film or whatever. Back in the day, basically you could write whatever game you wanted, you could rip off whatever sprites, whatever sound effects, whatever genre of game, whatever you wanted, you could copy it, you know, pixel perfect. And this game here, it says for any older fans will probably recognise this as being what else was it called? My mind has gone a complete blank. What was the name of this game? Barmy Burgers? Burger Time, that's it, Burger Time. Basically the idea was you play the part of a chef, and you've got to knock down, you've got to basically build hamburgers by knocking down the ingredients. So I suppose this was a complete shameless rip-off on the Spectrum. So anyway, let's turn up the goddamn awful sound. Now you'll notice as soon as it loads it just seems to start, so right, there we go, game over, let's get it on. So this is Barmy Burgers by Blaby Software. You don't get any notice at all that the game started, it just launches right in. Now you'll see there when I actually quite like the arcade game, the arcade version of this game. It's bloody difficult, and this version is no exception. Now you're meant to play the part of a chef, but in the case of this it looks more like a bloody rabbit getting chased by a fried egg. And you'll see here, game over, bang, right into a new game. And as with a lot of these early arcade games, you had to be bloody pixel perfect to go up and down ladders. Now basically what happens is, if you come on, oh well, it's not exactly like the arcade. In the arcade version, if a baddie steps onto the burger that you're about to drop, like I did there, in fact I'll see if I can get it, he would basically fall to his death. But in the case of this particular version, he doesn't seem to do that. What you can do though, you can stand like so, damn it, and wait for them to go beneath the ingredient, and then you can just basically walk across and kill him, squash him to death. As you can see here, you're being chased with manic hot dogs. You've also got, you don't have any weapons as such, but you've got a thing called, you've got pepper, which I've just wasted there. And basically you can spray a pepper. You can spray a pepper, oh it's happened to you. You can spray a pepper like so, and it does absolutely nothing. Now this particular version is pretty difficult because it's only got the two ladders you can go up and down, from the bottom at least. Now the best way to play this game is to actually, I'll try and show you in a second. Come on, here you go. Is like so, is to basically knock down, if you've got ingredients in a row like so, like I'll demonstrate here, it then knocks them down. Now to be fair, this game, I says this is pretty much one of the first games that came out for the Spectrum, and it's actually not too bad. Come on, I used a spray, he did nothing there. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. It's not the smoothest animation in the world, the graphics, the sound's very basic. The game itself is pretty basic, but it's quite quick. I mean, you see there when you knock down one of the layers of burger, it falls quite quickly. But this is actually, believe it or not, this is actually harder than the arcade version. Because it's, I don't know. See, normally... It is completely unforgiving. I don't quite know what's going on there with the hot dog. Come on, get underneath. Hurry! The problem with a lot of these early kind of games, they didn't move sort of pixel by pixel, they seem to kind of move in blocks. So you get even remotely near to a baddie and it's kind of game over. As I say, the best way to play this game... Hey! I killed him and he instantly appears. The best way to play this game is to try and work from the top down. Take that, damn it. This is in the arcade version, if a baddie is walking on the actual level that you're about to knock down, when you do knock it down he would normally fall to his death, but in the case of this game it doesn't do it. Or in the case of this version I should say. Actually for a Spectrum game this is pretty good. I mean the graphics are pretty good, there's not really any, in fact I don't see any colour clash. The only kind of glitching you seem to get slightly is when you'll notice when a baddie walks past a ladder it kind of, I don't know, it changes into some kind of bizarre kind of glitchy thing, but in the main it's not bad. The actual colour doesn't seem to bleed at all, so yeah, it's not bad. It's an early game, what do you expect? But like I said, you know, a game like this, it could only exist in the early 80s because back then you could just basically rip off, somebody brought out a good game and before you knew it there was clones galore. Then it was kind of, I don't know, when probably kind of the mid 80s, maybe 2-3 years into this kind of industry of ours, they started getting more kind of wise for licenses. Obviously arcade games were coming out and you had to actually pay for the license. I mean what was happening was you were getting companies who would buy like the license for Gauntlet, and then if another company tried to release a Gauntlet clone then they would usually try and sue them. Pardon me. Come on! But yeah, you play the part of a chef in Burger Time and I'm guessing that's one of these little hat things. First time I played this actually, I think it was only out in the Spectrum. I don't recall it being out in the Commodore 64. And I defy anybody to actually complete this level. I don't know quite what was going on there. He's kind of mutating. I always laughed, in fact I'm going to turn up to let you hear the sound. For some strange reason, the noise of him walking, which you will hear in a second once I stop. This little noise of the walking seemed to be featured in every single early Spectrum game. It was like you got an attic attack. The little kind of footsteppy noises. I don't know whether that was an actual built-in sound for the Spectrum, but every game back in the day seemed to make that noise. I think Sabre Wolf used it, Attic Attack definitely used it, I think even Nightlore used it. It's hard to kind of describe. But yep, I recognise that noise. Oh, I should have waited on him. Ah, come on. Go! Time for one last game I think, guys. Somebody's trying to get off the ladders, you've just got to be matched up perfectly. Oh, 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 ah! Anyway, listen, that's 10 minutes, you know the rules. This is Barmy Burgers by Blaby Software on the Spectrum. Thanks for watching.